change their treasure maps of history, mystery, and unexpected value. Today, we're about to uncover the captivating story of a small yet powerful piece of American heritage, the 1981 D. Lincoln 1-cent Liberty coin. You might think it's just an old penny, but hold on tight, because this little copper coin could be worth much more than one. We're diving into the fascinating story of a coin that might be hiding in your pocket change right now, and it could be worth a lot more than you think. That's right, we're talking about the 1981-cent Liberty Lincoln coin from the United States of America. This little copper coin may just be a cent in your hand, but its history, hidden value, and collector appeal make it shine like a $1-million diamond to numismatists around the world. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know everything about this iconic penny, but you might also be inspired to check your coin jar. Let's get started. To understand the significance of the 1980 Lincoln 1-cent coin, we must first appreciate the legacy it represents. The Lincoln cent, also known as the Lincoln Memorial Cent, was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, one of the most respected and beloved figures in American history. He was the first actual person ever featured on a regular issue U.S. coin. Before Lincoln, U.S. coins mostly featured symbolic images like Lady Liberty. But Lincoln broke that trend, and ever since, his portrait has proudly graced the front of the U.S. 1-cent piece. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse or front of the coin features a powerful right-facing portrait of Lincoln, with the word Liberty to the left and the mint year to the right. Now, let's zoom in on the year 1980, an exciting time for Lincoln cents. This was a transitional era. The coin was still being minted with 95% copper and 5% zinc, which gives it that rich, reddish tone. This was one of the last full copper cents, as just 2 years later, in 1982, the U.S. Mint switched to a cheaper composition, primarily zinc with only a thin copper plating. That makes the 1980 Lincoln cent one of the final generations of solid copper pennies, adding to its significance in the collecting world. In 1980, the coin was struck at 3 locations: Philadelphia no mint mark, Denver D, and San Francisco S proof coins only. Our focus today is on the Philadelphia strike, the 1981 cent Liberty with no mint mark. The U.S. Mint produced a whopping 7.4 billion of these coins in Philadelphia alone. Yes, you heard that right, over 7 billion. So, you might be wondering, with so many made, how could a 1980 Lincoln cent possibly be valuable? Well, the answer lies in condition, rarity, errors, and collector demand. Let's break it down. First, we have mint state coins. These are uncirculated coins that were never used in daily transactions. They went straight from the mint into protected storage. Grading agencies like PCGS and NGC grade these coins on a scale from MS60 to MS70. The higher the grade, the more perfect the coin and the more valuable it becomes. A 1980 Lincoln cent in MS65 red condition, which means brilliant red luster, and nowhere can be worth between $1 to $5. But in MS66 to MS67, prices begin to rise sharply. An MS67 red specimen of this coin has sold for $99 or more at auctions, depending on the market and the collector's interest. Imagine that, a 1-cent coin fetching almost $100, that's a 9,800% increase in value. Now, here's where it gets really exciting: error coins. Collectors go wild over mint errors. And the 1980 Lincoln cent has its share of spectacular mistakes. One of the most famous errors is the double die obverse, where the inscriptions like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" appear slightly doubled. These coins can range from $25 to several $100s, depending on how strong the doubling is and the coin's condition. Then there are off-center strikes, where the design is not properly aligned. Depending on how off-center it is, and if the date is still visible, these coins can sell for $50, $100, or even more. A rare broad strike error, where the coin is minted without the collar and spreads wider than normal, can also fetch high prices from eager collectors. So yes, if your 1980 penny has an odd shape, strange markings, or visible doubling, don't toss it. You might be holding a hidden treasure. But what about circulated coins? Even if your 1980 Lincoln cent has some wear, it may still have value, especially if it's an error coin or has a beautiful red patina. And remember, each 1980 penny is made of 95% copper, which means its melt value alone is more than 1 cent. At current copper prices, One pre-1982 penny is worth about 2.5 cents in metal content, but US law prohibits melting them down for profit. Still, this means that your old copper cents are worth saving, especially in bulk. Collectors and investors alike are hoarding copper pennies, and over time, their value continues to rise. Another reason 1980 pennies are important: they're among the last of a dying breed. After 1982, the US Mint began using zinc cores with a copper coating, and these newer cents just don't have the same weight, feel, or durability. Copper cents from 1980 and earlier are considered real pennies by many purists. They represent a time when coinage felt solid, valuable, and historic. I remember the first time I found a perfect 1980 Lincoln penny gleaming red, full detail on Lincoln's beard, not a scratch on it. I sent it in for grading, and when it came back MS-67, I was over the moon. Sold it for nearly $100. That 1 cent literally made my week. So, here's what you should do next: check your coin jars, go through your piggy banks, and pull out every 1980 Lincoln penny you find. Look for that rich copper tone, check for mint errors, and if you see anything unusual, consider sending it in for grading. And if you're just starting out, the 1980 Lincoln cent is a fantastic coin to begin your collection. It's affordable, accessible, and full of history. Because in the world of coins, it's not always about what's rare. Sometimes, it's about what represents a legacy, what tells a story, and what brings joy to collectors everywhere. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the 1980 Liberty Lincoln 1 cent coin. From its rich copper core to its iconic design and collectible value, this little coin is more than just spare change. It's a piece of history, a collector's delight, and maybe, just maybe, a hidden gem waiting for you to find out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more incredible coin stories. Who knows? Your next coin could be worth more than you ever imagined. Until next time, keep hunting, keep collecting, and keep the passion alive. Dear treasure hunters, history lovers, and coin collectors, now we're unlocking the secret story behind a small copper coin that has surprised collectors around the world: the 1981 1 cent Liberty Lincoln coin from the United States. At first glance, it's just a simple penny. But this tiny coin, minted over 40 years ago, holds a deep history, a powerful legacy, and in some rare cases, it's worth much more than 1 cent, up to 98 cents or more in today's collector market. So sit back, relax, and prepare to dive into a world of metal, memory, and mystery as we journey through the fascinating tale of the 1981 Lincoln cent. The story begins not in 1981, but in 1909, the year the Lincoln cent was born. It was created to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, one of America's most beloved and respected leaders. He was the first real person to be featured on a U.S. coin, and his legacy of courage, honesty, and unity was forever stamped into American currency. The designer, Victor David Brenner, placed Lincoln's profile on the obverse, with the words "I in God we trust" and "Liberty," making it not just a coin, but a statement of values. And since then, the Lincoln cent has been a silent witness to over a century of American history through wars, peace, civil rights, space missions, and technology. Revolutions. Section 2. Zooming in on 1981 now, let's fast forward to the year 1981. America was changing. Ronald Reagan had just become president, inflation was high, and the economy was in transition. But behind the scenes at the U.S. Mint, another transformation was also happening. The 1981 Lincoln cent marked the end of an era. This was one of the last full years the U.S. Mint produced pennies using a 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy, weighing 3.11 grams. Why is this important? Because in 1982, the Mint would change the composition to zinc with only a thin copper plating, which made them lighter and cheaper to produce. So the 1981 penny is part of that last generation of true copper cents, a final moment in a historic lineage. That's what gives this coin extra importance for collectors today. Section 3. Varieties and mint marks. In 1981, the penny was minted in 3 major locations: Philadelphia No mint mark, Denver D mint mark, San Francisco S mint mark. Now here's where it gets really interesting. There are 2 major varieties of the 1981 S-proof coins, Type 1 and Type 2. The differences are subtle, but they matter a lot in the world of coin collecting. Type 2 has a clearer and sharper S mint mark, and it's rarer, making it more valuable. So if you have a 1981 S-proof coin, pull out your magnifying glass. You might just have something special in your pocket change. Section 4 Value and Market Prices TODA. Why now? The big question. How much is the 1981 Lincoln cent worth today? Well, if you have an average, circulated 1981 penny, it's still worth 1 cent in daily spending. But if it's in uncirculated condition with that bright red luster, no scratches, and strong detail, it can sell for 25 cents to 50 cents or more to the right buyer. If it's graded MS 65 or higher by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, the value can climb up to 98 cents, depending on the condition and demand. But here's the real jackpot: some rare proof versions, especially the 1981 S-Type 2, in PR 69 or PR 70 condition, have been auctioned for $50 to $200 or more. Add to that the increasing value of copper